Hey, I trust this finds you doing well, and I want to thank you for letting me be a part of your walk. I hope this is encouraging to you. Today, we want to look at Ephesians chapter number 6, starting in verse number 5. He says, "Bondservants, obey your earthly masters with fear and trembling, with a sincere heart, as you would Christ, not by the way of eye service as people pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, rendering service with a good will as to the Lord and not to man, knowing that whatever good anyone does, this he will receive back from the Lord, whether he is a bondservant or is free. Masters, do the same to them, and stop your threatening, knowing that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and that there is no partiality with him." Now, we don't use this term, bondservant any longer. And the term bondservant was different than a slave in the sense that a slave might be captured or purchased, but a bondservant was someone who maybe who had been indentured to a master and then decided freely of their own will in the Jewish culture to give themselves over to their master, to be their servant for their lives. And in the Jewish culture, that person, when they gave themselves of their free will to be a bondservant, they would take and make a piercing through their ear to show that they were a bondservant. Now, of course, we don't have that. So you say, well, what's the application for us? Well, whoever's authority that we freely submit ourselves to as an employer, someone we work for, he's saying that we do this and we do it all as a service to the Lord. I'm glad that we don't live in a culture where slavery of any type is accepted. But I do hope that we realize that as the children of God, in all the ways that we serve others, as employers or employees, is a part of how we serve the Lord. That everything we do, Paul says in another place, whether we eat or drink or whatsoever we do it unto the Lord. And so the way that we work is not, saying the right thing and then doing whatever we want. We're not men pleasers. In our labors, we aim to please the Lord. As a master, as a boss, as an employer, we aim to please the Lord because we recognize that our employees, our staff, our bosses, we all have the same master, Jesus. We have one true and ultimate authority. He said, with fear and trembling, not that we should be afraid that our master is going to beat us, because that's totally unacceptable in our culture, and it should be. But we do it with fear and trembling in the sense that we have this great awe. If I'm working at a gas station, I'm really working for the Lord. And if I'm a truck driver and I'm driving, well, I'm doing this unto Christ. And if I'm a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, I may have someone over me, an employer, but I'm doing it unto the Lord. And if I have the responsibility of having employees and staff under me, I need to care for them. I need to manage and care for them as unto the Lord in a way that would be pleasing. You see, the Christian, the disciple of Jesus, the follower of him, who's living from his indwelling presence, needs to be so cautious and concerned that we're reflecting his character in the world, because all that we do is unto him. So we're not using threats and manipulation. We're expressing love, nurture, and care. If we are Christians and serving as employees and we find ourselves in an environment that we cannot freely submit ourselves to, then we remove ourselves from that authority in a way that honors God. And if we, as a manager, an employer, have an employee that we can't nurture into a place of productivity and reveal to them the love and compassion of the Lord, then we release them, but we do it unto the Lord, seeking to please Him in all things, in all ways, never lifting ourselves up, because we know, as he says here, bondservant or master, in our culture, employee or employer, one in authority and one in serving, there is no partiality. Jesus is the great equalizer. He says there's no discerning or difference between Jew and Gentile, slave or free, male or female. We are one in Christ. It is true that we have different responsibilities in the world, but we do all to please Him. And remembering it's all about how He, who lives in us, desires to live through us. Be encouraged. Hope you have a great rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. God bless.